He also forgave loans if borrowers left their faith, making it impossible for the money to be collected.
He forgave loans? Insane? This is a really, despicable thing this guy's doing. I'm getting angry at Philip Riehl. I got sidetracked by his amazing business naming skills, but the anger and frustration is building with this guy because this is real, shameful stuff.
Hello and welcome. My name is Josh Sager.
I'm Garth Sharif.
And you're listening to The Fraud Complex, a podcast where we unpack wild true crime fraud stories without murders. Do you trust the people in your life, in your family, in your community? Who would you trust with your investments? Some faceless corporation or a neighbor? The person who does your taxes? Someone you know who you can look in the eye and shake their hand? The person who goes to the same church? Someone you've known so long you don't remember not knowing them? These are the types of questions we're exploring in today's episode. It's the story of an elaborate Ponzi scheme perpetrated by Philip Elvin Riehl, a trusted quote-unquote accountant within the Mennonite and Amish communities of Berks County, Pennsylvania. Riehl exploited the deep-seated trust and shared faith within these insular communities using what is known as affinity fraud to swindle approximately 400 families out of nearly $60 million. So how did this happen? We're going to get into it. But first, Garth, what pops into your head when you hear the word Amish communities?
I think you know this answer, Josh, because I'm a film guy, and everything tends to go back to a movie. It is Witness, Kelly McGillis, Harrison Ford. I think that was an Amish community. Please, if my accuracy on the actual community is wrong. That's what I think about.
Absolutely right.
Yeah, that's what I think about. I feel I should have more depth in there, but I don't. And it immediately goes, I love that movie. I don't know if it still holds up, but that's what I think about. I think Harrison Ford, the romance. I don't know why there was a shootout in the Amish. I have to watch that movie again. Why was there a shootout in the Amish village? But anyway, that's what I think about.
I have to watch it again. That's my main reference. That and Kingpin, the bowling movie.
Yeah, that's another good one.
Yeah. Now go ahead and open image one.
We're into the
images. I was guessing this was going to be your main reference because I think it's most people's main references. Tell us what you see.
This is the movie I'm excited. This is a great start for me because I'm all nostalgic nowadays, and I'm looking at a good-looking man in Harrison Ford staring right into my eyes. Harrison Ford is John Book. That's his name. I don't remember the name. A big city cop, a small country boy. They have nothing in common but a murder. That's
Absolutely.
the tagline. That doesn't feel like the movie. Was there a boy in there? I don't remember this movie.
I got a little summary because I needed a refresher for myself. So Witness told the story about a young Amish boy who witnessed a crime. And Harrison Ford played a detective dispatched to protect the boy and his mother before the trial, putting his own life on the line. So that's a little bit of the background.
Okay, it's coming back. I didn't know Peter Weir directed this. I forgot about that. This is on my movie list. It's happening. I'm going to watch it sooner than later. But yeah, thank you for that, Josh. I appreciate it. What was it like going back to movie time?
No, it always comes back to movie time. But it really does set the context for the story we're going to be telling, because these are the types of communities we're going to be talking about. Now go ahead and open image 2.
Wow, back-to-back images. You've done your homework here. I'm ready to go. Was there Witness 2? I don't think there was a sequel.
Witness 2, you know what? It's time. There's an IP there. There is
an IP. Harrison Ford's still doing stuff. He's doing a lot of his old IPs. Ooh, this is beautiful. I'm watching a lot of Bob Ross lately, believe it or not. And I love this picture because the clouds, the sky. But what I'm also seeing, of course, is a farm, just this area. I do think Witness and where the action takes place. But this is a rural community, a lot of space, a lot of area. Feels like the location where the Amish might be.
Absolutely. And this is specifically Berks County, Pennsylvania, where most of the story takes place. But you're totally right. This is a rural area. It's idyllic, not the type of place where you'd expect a big swindle to happen, especially of this scale. And we're going to keep it going. Go ahead and open image number 3.
Oh my gosh, I'm going to have to take a break. My mouse hand is getting tired, Josh. That's okay.
It's okay. It's heavy lifting at the beginning.
I get the left hand. All right, I'm pressing. Double click. Oh, yes. So now this is to me. And by the way, I think the Amish are amazing. I don't know why I have to just preface this. Because I think I would love to exist in a time where I never had a phone, to be honest with you. It only causes me stress, the technology that we have nowadays. So I love what I'm looking at here. It looks like a family or the part of the community in the Amish community on a horse-driven carriage, looking very peaceful. One of the kids is wearing a tuxedo?
Seems to be. He's the dapper, little snappy dresser of the group.
That's a sharp-looking kid right there. And yeah, it seems what I would think when I think about an Amish community. Family, community, religion, and care for each other. I think that's a big part of it.
I think you're absolutely right. So the Amish are known for their simple living, plain dress, what they call Christian pacifism, and slowness to adopt many conveniences of modern technology. You mentioned the cell phones. They have a view neither to interrupt family time nor replace face-to-face conversations whenever possible, and a view to maintain self-sufficiency. That's going to be important in this case.
Self-sufficiency, okay.
The Amish value rural life, manual labor, humility, and something called Gelassenheit, which is submission to God's will. Now, this is Berks County, Pennsylvania. It's not entirely Amish communities, but a lot of the victims in this fraud case were. Another group were the Mennonite community.
Okay.
The Mennonites are known not for shunning modern technology in the same way. So these are different groups. We're not trying to portray them as the same, but they do share similarities in how they're both a little wary of outsiders and they prefer to keep to themselves, and how both groups in this case were victims of affinity fraud, which took advantage of this tendency to, stick to your community. And, this kept coming up in the FBI reports, affinity fraud. So I just want to share a definition that I found because it was new to me. Affinity fraud typically involves investment scams that prey upon members of identifiable groups, such as religious or ethnic communities. These types of scams exploit the trust and friendship that exists in people of the same group who share common interests or beliefs. So that's the backdrop. Now we're going to get into the case.
Okay.
All right.
I mean, I'm already excited, and again, I'm having flashbacks to Witness. You said hardworking, and I remember a scene, I think it happened, where they build a barn. And they're working.
The barn.
Harrison Ford, I think Harrison Ford's a carpenter, actually, in real life. And they're building it. I'm like, they're amazing. They build up, they're working hard, and it just a sense of community. So again, I apologize if I'm being a little bit too simple with my knowledge of the Mennonite, or really the Amish community, but the Witness. But hardworking, I got that from Witness.
They got it. And they were not thrilled with having Harrison Ford in their community. An outsider,
right.
A guy with a gun. It was
right.
Big deal. So
yeah, that outsider part was a big part of that film. And it's also, part of what you're telling me with both these communities, the Amish and Mennonite, and that also lends itself to what you just described, the potential for affinity scam.
Yeah.
Not Infinity, like Infinity Wars, but Affinity. I got to make sure I say that correctly.
Infinity Scam, also a great title for a sequel.
Thanos. Thanos is another fraud. I'm getting my frauds and Marvel villains mixed up. Sorry, Josh. You're running the show here. What am I doing?
Let me run the show. Okay, we're going to start. This is around 2010, maybe a little before. We're not totally sure when the scam started. Philip Elvin Riehl begins operating the Riehl Investment Program. Riehl was 58 at the time. He's an accountant. At least he's referred to as an accountant. And he is a member of the Mennonite community in Berks County, Pennsylvania. He establishes an investment program, pooling funds through promissory notes. He falsely claims these funds would be safely loaned out within the community, personally guaranteed, secured by co-signers, and this program will form the basis of his Ponzi scheme. So my big thing I highlighted in my notes, Philip E. Riehl, more like Philip He Fake.
Oh.
Yeah.
I wish I
trying to
could
bring
points.
some puns.
No, but that's a great one because he's using puns, right? He's using his last name. What was it? Real Investments? Is that what it was?
Real, yeah, something like that. The Real Investment Program. That's right.
That's right. So
we can use it right back at him.
You can do it too. That's another thing I'm learning about the Amish Mennonite community. They're into puns. They're pun positive. And we are on this show. We're definitely pun positive. So that's
the Bible's full of puns. Last time I don't know if I've ever read it, but I'm assuming.
Okay. That just came from your mind, not from any knowledge of the Bible. But I'm going to support it. I'm going to say that's true.
That's 100% verifiable. Now, I noticed, Garth, you were shaking your head when I referred to him as an accountant. And you were right to shake your head. He is referred to an accountant in multiple news articles, but I learned he only completed a portion of 10th grade. So his accountant status seemed fishy to me. So I wanted to ask you, Garth, if someone is claiming to be an accountant, but they seem a little fishy,
Often
what
happens.
could you do?
Many people claim to be accountants because we're cool. Who wouldn't want to be one? Hey, what do you do for a living? I'm an accountant. Are you really?
That's a bad boy group. You want to be part of that group.
Yeah. And you asked me about how they would maybe present themselves as an accountant?
Well, I was going to say, what would you do to verify their professional status?
What would I do? Well, we got a secret handshake in our profession, so I'd immediately go to that. And so if they don't know it, I'm like, oh, you're not an accountant. You don't know the handshake. It's possible I've forgotten the handshake, so what would I do? That's a good question. And I'm like, okay, you have a transaction in which a customer sells a good on December 12th, and they received the good later on... yeah, I don't want to do this.
Wow, I feel like I already know you're an accountant with that.
Yeah, I know. I would give them a little problem to solve. I don't know how I would do that socially, so it doesn't look like I'm trying to fish to see if they're actually an accountant. I've never had to do that before. But I might throw in a little revenue recognition problem, see if they get it right.
A little expertise wouldn't hurt. Now, Garth, I'm a type of guy who likes to trust and verify. And now go ahead and open up image number 4, because I was doing a little exploration of my own accountant needs, and I wanted to... Oh, my cats are having a little brawl right next to me. Hey. I guess this one's going to sit in my lap.
I forgot the cat's name.
Oh, this is Cujo, and his brother Hubert is over there.
I think Cujo has to make an appearance in every episode because that's happened.
It's going to happen whether we want it or not.
You know what? This is the right answer, Josh. Oh my God.
Tell us what you're looking at.
I'm looking at an image of my CPA Ontario information because I'm listed there as a member. I'm also on the Illinois Financial Department of Regulation because I'm a licensed CPA. So this would have been the right answer. Thank you, Josh.
This was a big relief to me because I'd always heard you were an accountant. You had always talked about being an accountant.
That's true.
But
You
now
verified me.
I verified
You
it just through a simple Google search.
I'm not sure how I feel about this. Okay.
This just highlights how Riehl's accountant title might have been based on maybe what he would describe as practical experience, community trust, more of an informal qualification rather than a full college degree or a certified public accountant license, which is, I did not find any mention of in our sources. So the fact that he was an accountant, yet only completed a portion of 10th grade, could be seen as an example of how trust within this tight-knit community can sometimes bypass traditional markers of professional qualification. Like, I can say I'm an architect.
Are you?
That doesn't mean... Let's say I just said I am an architect. I can design a building.
I'm not going to verify this, Josh. I just trust you. You're my co-host. If you tell me you're an architect, you're an architect. This is an affinity scheme happening live on the Fraud Complex.
It's almost too easy. So between 2010 and maybe earlier, Riehl just started operating what became a dual fraud. So he had the investment scheme. He also had a program where he was soliciting direct investments into a company where he was the majority owner. The company was called the Trickling Springs Creamery, but we'll start with the investment program.
Sorry, what? What's it called?
Trickling Springs Creamery.
Okay.
Like the trickling springs of a waterfall or something.
Okay. This guy's interesting with names. I like how he names his companies.
Yeah.
I'm on board for his naming skills.
He's got a lot of skills going for him. We'll get more into Trickling Springs. First, we'll talk about this investment program because it started small. He was trying to invest enough money to buy a home, but small town, more and more people heard about what he was doing, and they actually came to him. They wanted to invest. And so, Garth, I was going to ask you, why do you think people in Berks County, Pennsylvania prefer to invest with Riehl versus going somewhere else with their money?
Well, you've told me this. The movie Witness emphasizes this, but it's community, right? There's a sense that Philip Riehl, is he Amish or Mennonite? No, I'm not
He's
as good
Mennonite.
as the note-taking. He's Mennonite.
Yeah.
But he's part of you talked about how the Amish and Mennonite have some commonalities, and specifically, people within the community. You see what he's doing. He seems to have some success. You trust him automatically, and you wouldn't go to an outside advisor like a financial firm that's just not part of the culture. So it makes sense. Trust, community. You're seeing what he's doing. Why not?
You are nailing it, Garth. You're absolutely right. According to the FBI, Riehl was a well-known member of the community. He did people's taxes year after year. They knew and trusted him. And this is another thing that was quite shocking to me. Because of their religious beliefs, many people in this community did not pay into Social Security. So members would seek out their own opportunities to fund retirement. Because many of the victims were investing for the long term, they often didn't ask for their money for years. So they saw statements that showed the money was doing fine when actually it had been invested in failing businesses and was gone. So I just want to highlight that the Amish Mennonite way of sticking to yourself may have contributed to an unearned sense of trust with Riehl. A reluctance to seek outside help may have also contributed to him defrauding this community for so many years until finally the word got out and state and federal agencies started looking into his activities. According to the FBI, Riehl was not licensed to invest people's money.
Oh, no.
He also did minimal research on the companies he was loaning money to. For example, he loaned much of the money he received into a failing creamery that went out of business, leaving investors with nothing. And
The trickle stream one?
Yeah, one where he was
I
the
get it?
majority owner.
No,
Trickling
he
streams.
had investment.
Yeah. He also forgave loans if borrowers left their faith, making it impossible for the money to be collected.
He
Isn't
forgave
that
loans
insane?
if people left their faith.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
And now they didn't
Why did he do
expand on
that?
this. I was
Yeah,
going to ask
okay,
you, Garth,
yeah.
what if you were to
Cool.
lend someone money and then they just skip town? How would you react? Would you just forgive the debt, or what would you do?
Well, first, I try not to lend money all that often because I don't want to be in this situation where you're going to track people down. So I always want to trust the person I'm lending money to. And that's why it's always good to go to a place where you feel like you trust both the lender and the receiver. But, well, if I was going to track somebody down, of course, I'd get in my car and find them. I'd be like a bounty hunter, like Midnight Run. I'm all over it. I'll find you. Your money back.
I believe you. I believe.
I'm gonna get it back. You know that.
I'd be watching my back.
I don't know about forgiveness, but I'm gonna get you.
No, that. I think your reaction is like many people. I don't know about the bounty hunter side, but they're not jumping right to forgiveness. So this is the curious thing. Why do you suppose Riehl would forgive people? Was it out of goodwill, or was there something else?
It's weird because they're leaving the church, because you would think that's not something, I don't know how actually religious and attached to the community was, because that would be something where if you leave the church.
Steeped in the community.
He was, right? So if you left the community, you might actually, because if you stayed in the community and you had a financial issue and you couldn't pay, you might actually then be more likely to forgive. But to leave the community and forgive it, I'm not sure why he would do that. It doesn't make too much sense to me.
Now we're speculating here. My guess is keeping this within the community was good for his Ponzi scheme. Once people left, he didn't really want to stir up any trouble, because that would bring attention to it. If you leave the community, maybe you're leaving this tendency to, not report, or I feel like this was not a forgiveness. This was selfish masked as forgiveness.
I think you're absolutely right. I know we're speculating. I think you are right on. This is really astute. I think that's right, because maybe somebody leaves, they have the loan, then they go tell other people, I got this loan from this guy, and I still have to pay it. And then somebody asks, and then he has to explain himself. And so you're right. That's a way of actually protecting himself. I think that's the answer. I think you're absolutely right. By the way, I'm be honest with you. Originally with Philip Riehl, I was, interested in, I think the names and all this. I don't like this guy. I don't like taking advantage of this. This is a really, despicable thing this guy's doing. I'm getting angry at Philip Riehl. I got sidetracked by his amazing business naming skills, but the anger and frustration is building with this guy because this is real, like, shameful stuff. And this is a quick aside. This is something for CPAs, maybe even Philip Riehl, who's... No, not for Philip. No, not. You're getting nothing, Philip. If you ask for a coupon code, you're not going to get it from us. But if you're a CPA or our IRS agent, because we have a CE certification for IRS agents looking for verifiable ethics hours for your continuing professional education requirements, and if I know you get it last minute, well, you can get this course as verifiable CPE by going to our website. And this episode in particular, and the one before it, the fruitcake, we will eventually have it on there. It's going to take a little bit of time, but by the time you listen to this, hopefully it's there on onlinecpe.sharifconsulting.com. You'll find the episode that you can buy, which is verifiable. You can then listen to it and watch it and also get your requirements for your CPE credits while folding your laundry, driving, and there's a comma there, which is important to address. You should be folding your laundry and driving. Just that's a public service message for you. Or lying on your couch, and you can use our coupon code. Oh, we're still using fruitcake. Fruitcake. Because I'm not going to create a coupon code for every episode because we could have gone like witness. But no, it's fruitcake. Fruitcake, capital F, fruitcake. We'll put this on our website to get 25% off the verifiable version. And Sharif Consulting is an NASBA sponsor for QAS self-study for CPAs. That means you get verified hours, and for IRS agents also. So yeah, that's just something if you want to get credit for listening to us. But you get credit from me anyway, but not the one that counts with the regulators.
It's super shameful, and it is a pattern of his that he'll put on a mask of godliness or faith to cover up something else that's going on, whether selfishness or... trust for...
Affinity schemes are really the worst type of people, like, because you are really attaching yourself to something that's important to them, in this case, the community of religion. And to take advantage of that, that's some real bad stuff. Like, out of all, I know you're going to continue. If I compare the airport heist and the fruitcake thing, like, this is the worst guy. This is, like, I know there's an airport heist, but this guy, to me, is... Yeah.
We can forgive someone who saw a ton of gold on an airplane and figure out how to steal it. But this guy, he did this for decades. And his neighbors, friends. Now, I feel you. There's not a lot of sympathy here. But now we're going to get to, I think, what I'm most excited about. Garth, Go ahead and open Ice Cream Image 5. Because I told you about the investment program. And now it's time to talk about the creamery.
Oh my God, I didn't know what you meant by creamery. That's why you didn't explain. I'm like, is he going to tell me what the creamery part? What is the trickling springs?
What are you seeing?
This looks good, by the way. Honestly, I'm pretty hungry. And what I'm seeing in here is Trickling Springs Organic Salted Dark Chocolate Chunk. Oh, that's a pretty good... I like ice cream, even though I'm lactose intolerant. So I'd hope they'd have a vegan version of this. Mm-hmm. But I'm assuming this is one of the businesses he got into.
Yeah, this is sort of his main business that he's a majority investor in. But yeah, when I saw this, I'm like, wow, this looks so good.
It does.
Organic
Non-GMO
ice cream. Yeah, and this was back in...
I like the look of it. I like the package. It's like got the... Everything's Bob Ross for me nowadays. I'm sorry, Josh. It's got the sky blue and happy clouds and the green. And I love dark chocolate. And I love salt. And I love the word chunk. He's put it all together for me. I still don't like this guy.
Yeah.
But now I'll give a little bit of credit to his business naming skills. And maybe I'm not going to get a chance to taste this. You didn't ship this to me because I don't think shipping ice cream would be a wise thing to do. But on the face of it, I buy this.
Yeah. And this is 2010, started in 2002 actually. So they were on the cutting edge of like organic, non-GMO, like all this stuff was stuff you're paying a lot of money for now. They were, at the beginning of all this trend. So let me just give you a little bit of background. Trickling Springs Creamery was an organic milk processing plant. They process premium milk from local farmers for the local community. They established high standards for their milk sources. Farmers were given guidelines for feed, caring for their animals, taking care of their land's eco-sustainability. The creamery wanted milk from cows with access to pasture year-round and a grass-intensive diet. They became a certified organic processor in 2002, and as their reputation for quality organic grass-fed dairy products grew, they expanded distribution throughout the eastern seaboard region. They eventually supplied more than 1,500 locations. And their website said that they purchased milk from 32 family farms. So you could imagine a lot of dairies in the region were, supplying the creamery for its needs. So this was a known business in the community. Now, my question, Garth, if someone were to show you paperwork that shows this company is in good financial standing, I'm just off, your instincts. Do you think this might be a good investment?
Well, I'm an accountant, and a real accountant, not like Unreal Philip. I'd have to, do my verification of the financials. But if you were to pitch me this like you did, I'm loving everything I'm hearing. I mean, I like the locally sourced farms. I like the organic products. I like the product itself. So I think I'd be interested.
Yeah. And I think, you would be right to do this due diligence because in this case, just like he misrepresented the performance of his investment program, he failed to disclose the creamery's dire financial condition and mounting debt, instead diverting investor funds to prop up the failing business. So the creamery was portrayed as a successful business worth between 20 million and 40 million, but in reality, it was hemorrhaging money and being propped up by these investor funds and transfers from the real investment program. So the creamery eventually collapsed, ceased operations in September 2019, filed for bankruptcy in December of that year.
Did they say why? I'm just curious. Because, the product looks good, but, Philip seems like a guy who may have had an idea, but, maybe it seems maybe a lack of follow-through, but also maybe some ideas of taking money out of the organization for himself. Because, on the face of it, it seems like a good product, but you also, when you have a good product, you have to actually have a business structure, controls, all those things to make sure the thing actually sells and you cover costs. So he doesn't seem like he's a good, maybe a good idea person, but not a good business operator.
Yeah, and I don't have specifics on whether he was behind the operation or more just an investor, but yeah, the business wasn't doing well. And I feel like if there's one saving quality to him, I feel like he cared about this business and really wanted it to work, or his identity was tied into this business in a big way. And so he was actually breaking the law, diverting funds to prop it up.
Okay. And so he did care. So that's important to know. So he did. I'm just trying to figure out, Philip, if I should really hate him or kind of maybe thinking, because in this framing, maybe this was a thought that taking the money from the Amish and the Mennonite community for a business that would succeed like a Ben & Jerry's and the community gets financially more well off and can support themselves. You said they don't have Social Security. That makes me feel a little bit better about Philip.
It's possible, and I was going to ask you, Garth, what do you think he was doing with the money largely?
Well,
was he living large? Was he buying sports cars? What do you think?
Like Sandy Jenkins, Kay Jenkins. Episode 2, everyone. If I was thinking Philip's a good guy, I would think that maybe his heart was in the right place. Because sometimes this can happen, that he's taking from the Amish and Mennonite community to make the community better, but it's not working, and so he puts more and more. He's just putting bad money into a bad investment just to see if he can save it. So I'm gonna go that route. I wanna stay positive today, Josh. And I'm gonna say that good old Philip Riehl kept it real and did not, use money that he got from the community for himself. It was ice cream or nothing. That's how I feel.
That's what I love about you. Your big heart, your generous spirit. Well, the one thing I'll say was keep in mind before the creamery, he was already breaking the law with this investment scheme.
That's true.
The creamery
I should have taken that into account.
Was part of this, but a couple of things. There were no reports of family, wife, kids. Maybe he's married, maybe he wasn't. I didn't see anything on it. Also, no reports of him living large off of this. Okay. No sports cars, nothing like that.
Okay.
He definitely was propping up this business with investor funds. My reading of it is maybe he was driven by status in the community. the need to be seen as important, successful businessman. It's hard to know, but yeah, he wasn't, it seems like, driven by monetary, status symbols other than being like this person of importance.
Did you, when you went through this case, did you think that Philip had his heart in the right place? Like, because he wasn't siphoning money out. Do you think he was trying to build up an investment that would maybe make him better in the community, but also help the community? Because that makes me feel maybe, I mean, the fraud is wrong, he's doing terrible things, but maybe he was trying to help.
It's possible he had a part of him that really saw himself as doing good work. I think that's definitely how he would justify it to himself. But
The rationalization.
But you're also going to see these contradictions of like, a godly person stealing. Someone forgiving someone, but actually it's for selfish reasons.
Right. Because you're right in that way. I mean, he knew what was happening. He knew, and I imagine lying is not part of the ethos of being Amish or Mennonite, and he's lying quite a bit here.
He's lying quite a bit.
Yeah, all right. So he didn't pull a Sandy and Kay Jenkins and buy 38 cars and private jets.
No.
But he is stealing.
He is definitely misusing funds. Now, Garth, he was doing this for, extended period of time. If you were to guess, why do you suppose it took so long for people to catch on to this scheme?
Well, we know this is a question in all, not the airport heist. Even though in that little bit of time, why didn't somebody like check on the gold with Sandy and Kay Jenkins? With this case, and with a lot of these cases, it's because you've built trust, and there's no way, there's a cognitive dissonance that you can't imagine after all these years this person has been like diverting money and it's all been a lie. It's just hard to like wrap yourself around that possibility, even though I'm sure there was like more than breadcrumbs along the way. And it just, especially if you called it a Ponzi scheme, because the people who were giving money to him wouldn't have seen that as a consequence, because money just keeps having to come in. And so you just don't see that your money is disappearing because it appears like it's just still in these investments. So it can continue on because everyone's trusting each other. It's part of the affinity part of the scam.
Yeah, he's not buying Lamborghinis. He's a trusted guy. Long-term investors have known him for a long time. One red flag, I think, would be there was indications that his promises were too good to be true, which is always a red flag in these types of fraud incidents. He falsely claimed that he required 2 co-signers on every loan and that he would personally guarantee repayment with interest. So that in itself is a red flag to me. But above all of that, he was one of them. They trusted him. Yeah. So what was really going on? Here's what was happening according to court documents from the criminal case. Let me get you to open the next image 6.
Image 6. Ooh, no, this is not a picture. This is an excerpt. Defendant Riehl's misrepresentation to investors. Defendant Riehl pitched the Riehl investment program as a safe and secure investment. Among other things, he told investors and prospective investors that the Riehl investment program's portfolio of loans was diversified, such that loans were not concentrated in any one industry. He also told investors, and by investors, that's the Amish and Mennonite community, that he required 2 co-signers for each loan. You told me that, thereby reducing the risk of investing, which was, a lie. He told them that the Riehl investment program was profitable. Lie. Indeed, Defendant Riehl issued periodic investment account statements, and that's in quotations. So that doesn't seem like that had anything of accuracy on those statements, to investors that purported to show interest earned in steadily increasing account values. Oh, here it is. In reality, that's like Eminem. I forget the song lyric, but that's what it came to me. In reality, there goes gravity. The Riehl investment program was a house of cards. This is the court filing?
This is the government sentencing memorandum.
It's kind of funny how they do this. It was a house of cards. Like, they're also trying to be like dramatic. Like, this is going to be a screenplay. We'll use this. And Riehl's pitch a set of well-crafted lies. This, for instance, the program wasn't diversified at all. Up to approximately 40% of the outstanding loans were to a single business. The Riehl owned Trickling Springs Creamery. Now that I think about that name, that is hard to say. Trickling Springs Creamery. I don't think I could say it like 3 times in a row without like it becoming a mess. To continue, nor was it the case that all of the loans were secured by 2 co-signers. Most notably, sizable loans to the creamery were not so secured. Nor was the Riehl investment program profitable. Oh, I like this one. In any sense of the word. Wow. Oof. Rather, it was plagued by default and uncollectible debts. That's serious. That's bad. That's
bad investment disguised as a thriving business. So at what point did things start getting fishy? September 22nd, 2016. So Riehl is now 64. The SEC, the Securities and Exchange Commission, starts investigating. During this investigation, Riehl admits to having lied and misled investors. He states that he is winding down the Riehl investment program and is no longer accepting new investments. Mm. So this is 2016. He admits he was lying. He admits he was running a scam. The SEC concludes the investigation without enforcement actions. They didn't, they didn't take any enforcement against him. Despite Riehl's admissions, they conclude their investigation, no enforcement. Now, Garth, does this strike you as odd that no enforcement actions were taken as an accountant?
Well, yeah, it's interesting that the SEC is involved too, because I guess this got to a point where the SEC was overseeing maybe the program. Yeah, it does. I mean, if they thought there was something wrong here and they thought any of these representations in what I just read was happening, they should have protected the Amish and Mennonite community by shutting this down. So this to me is surprising that they didn't, also possibly facing criminal charges. And just like all the other cases, the two others, that they faced charges and were going to be arrested. So none of those things happened, seemed like, because I think you said this went on until 2019, didn't you?
Yeah, no, it continued. There's more to this.
Yeah, so what happened here? Now I don't know what happened. Why didn't
let me address
stop?
The SEC, because I was curious. I did a little digging into what powers the SEC had. So while they can't impose criminal penalties as an organization or send individuals to prison, they could have referred the case to the Department of Justice. They didn't. And that would have been for criminal prosecution. However, it was within their power to impose fines, reprimand individuals or entities for their misconduct, but they didn't. Riehl got off scot-free, no criminal charges. You would think that would be that. Riehl...
Yeah, so that's... I get it. I've gotten traffic tickets before. Like, this guy's, what was the amount? $60 million? Come on now.
His business was not going anywhere. They discovered what was going on. His business has failed. He made promises that didn't come to fruition. He admitted to lying, and they just said, close the business, and we're not going to pursue this any further.
Close both businesses, I guess, the investment program and the creamery.
Yeah, I would guess so.
I would guess so, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Or just stop being a criminal.
Knock it
We're
off.
not going to charge you, but just come on, Riehl.
I already answered this, but what do you think Riehl did? Do you think he just closed up shop, or considered himself lucky? What do you think?
Riehl, like you said, Mennonite and Amish community is hardworking. So it's like, I've worked so hard on this fraud. I'm not giving up. Like a barn that needs, a re-roofing. I'm going to continue. Even though the roof and the whole structure of the thing is probably going to kill somebody, I'm going to keep on working this thing. And Riehl doesn't stop. He keeps going.
Your generous spirit once again comes through. His hard work ethic. And no one is saying he wasn't working hard at all these scams.
That's right. I mean, that's an upside to him here. You working this fraud as hard as you can work it. That's what he learned about. If you're going to do something,
do it full out.
Do it full out and do it with the work ethic that you've learned from the Amish and Mennonite community. Turned bad, unfortunately, but yeah.
October 2016 to June 2018, Riehl continues to raise investor funds. Oh, no. They call it reloading.
He's terrible. He's a terrible person.
He's not a good person. Even after this SEC investigation and his promise to cease, Riehl continues to solicit and accept investments. He specifically takes short-term loans from prior investors, raising an additional $6.7 million during this period. Garth, what does it tell you about a person who gets shut down, dodged a bullet, and then starts right back up again doing the exact same thing?
Well, out of context, that's actually some good characteristics of resiliency. But when you're a criminal and you're taken from the Amish and Mennonite community, we're trying to keep this safe for work and keep our G rating on Spotify and Apple, YouTube. I really want to swear. I'm not going to, but this guy really angers me because this level of resilience and persistency for this, I mean, he must have known he was hurting people. Like, they're going to lose their money. That's like the community. Like, that's just a garbage move by this guy. He is not, I don't like him. I kind of was up and down with this. This guy, like, he should have stopped, tried to figure out a way to get the money back. He goes on for a few more years, 6.7 million. I'm angry.
The thing that really got me is him going back to those same investors he borrowed from before and reloading. And so I learned this is a common pattern amongst Ponzi schemes. You go back to your easiest targets and you just keep hitting them. Now, a lot of his investors are people he knows or has trusted him for years, about 400 families. So as the losses snowballed, the Pennsylvania Department of Banking and Securities gets involved. They finally began to investigate, and someone notified the FBI of possible criminal fraud. So it was the Pennsylvania Department of Banking notified the FBI. Oh, but do we know the victims? Not specifically. We'll talk a little bit more about the victims later. But we just know in general this community was reluctant, and it took an extreme situation. Like in Witness, it took a very extreme situation to bring the authorities from outside in.
Right. And that's what I was waiting for, and it hasn't happened yet, where Harrison Ford enters our story to thwart Philip. This is the sequel. This is Witness 2. I think this is
Witness 2.
What happened. We're pitching the screenplay for Witness 2. I think Peter Weir's still around. Just, there you go. We'll take a little bit of the credit on, screenplay idea. I don't know what credit we would get. The Writers Guild might get upset with this, but we'll watch out for it because I think this is Witness 2 happening right now.
It's happening. In 2018, the FBI, they brought charges against Defendant Riehl, Trickling Springs Creamery, and Defendant Reel's Creamery co-owners, alleging fraud in violation of the Pennsylvania Securities Act of 1972. Instead of entering into a consent order and agreeing to cease the conduct, Defendant Riehl and the other respondents contested the charges, resulting in a trial before a hearing officer who found for the state agency and against the respondents and ordered them to pay $4.35 million in civil penalties and barred them from selling securities. So he failed to contest the charges. He's ordered to pay a huge fine. He still lives in this community. Garth, if you could guess,
so sweet.
What do you think he does next? He lives there. What would you do if you were in his shoes?
I don't. Oh, no. This is going to the heart of darkness. I'm going to, for my own soul, I'm going to probably go in the direction this didn't go. Riehl comes back to the community. The community's been hurt. They understand what's happened. But they're good people. The Mennonite and Amish community are good people. They say, listen, you're a part of us. You went astray. We want you back. We're going to accept you, and we're going to work together. And Philip Riehl looks to them, tears pouring, and he says, I understand. You are my community. I love you. And I'm sorry this happened. And they work together, and they build a barn. They build a barn, just like a Witness. Just hammering away. That's how you get out. That's how you bring yourselves together. You build something, build a community, build a house. And then it's all good things from there on. And that's how I see it, Josh. And I know that's what you're going to tell me. That's what you're going to tell me, Josh. You're going to tell me that.
You're such a good-spirited, you have an Amish heart, because that is such
that's a big compliment. I appreciate that.
Yeah, that is such a generous approach. And believe it or not, you're pretty close. He didn't take off. What he did is he sent a letter to investors admitting to fraud. He sent a letter to his investors acknowledging his fraud and the true financial state of his operations.
Okay.
And this letter publicly reveals the extent of his deception. Go ahead and open up image 7.
Oh, okay. This is trending better. I didn't think this would be the case. Oh, okay.
So this is what Riehl wrote, pulled from court documents.
Oh my gosh.
And if you can read that to us.
Can I read this letter?
Please.
I want to read it in a nice sort of voice, like the way I feel Philip Riehl would sound like. And I apologize.
I cannot wait.
Dear friends, I share the following with a deep burden to be transparent before you, as clear before God as I know how. I am deeply sorry for all of the trauma I have caused you as a group of investors. I feel the need to acknowledge the following things to you. I should have gotten more advice from brethren. I was presumptuous in thinking I could manage such a lending business alone. Number 2, I am sorry for any form of dishonesty I am guilty of, and for my part in any false impressions. This includes stating repeatedly that I require 2 signatures for each loan. This gave false sense of security, and such a considerable percentage of funds were channeled into my personal projects. Furthermore, as the situation became more desperate, I should have known that my commitment in returning short-term loans was too optimistic. I should have been transparent with how the situation really was. Some of you may recall statements that I claimed I was under others' observation or direction. I acknowledged the information given to those who were observing was not adequate for their advice to mean much. My commitment to you is full transparency. Also, all of my resources are available to help my obligations. I want, beyond all, to be ready to meet my Lord and Savior. Pray for me in this agonizing situation. Your unworthy brother. Signed, Philip E. Riehl. That was moving towards maybe another person, but as I read this, it's a little formal. I don't know.
What did you think? What did you think of that letter?
There's something about it that's a little bit like legal, contractual about it. I don't know. I like
all of
he's
my
honest,
resources are available to help meet my obligations. That doesn't sound like a concrete
No.
offer to repay.
Yeah, there's a lot of these sort of business words in here. Like that particular sentence, considerable percentage of funds were channeled in my personal. Like, I think. Let me try this again with a letter that I might have wrote if I were Philip. Hi, my brethren, my community, my Mennonite and Amish friends, family, and loved ones. I stole a whole bunch of money from you. And I broke the law. I broke my word to God. I broke my word to my community. And I have sinned beyond belief. And I have looked at my deeds with true honesty and thought this is one of the worst things I've ever done to you, the community, hurt the very community that raised me and brought me up. And I want to devote my entire life to making it up to you. Your unworthy brother, Philip E. Riehl. That to me.
That's an apology. Yeah.
This just seems something he may have crafted with the lawyer. I don't know. What did you think?
No, the legalese tone of it hadn't occurred to me until you mentioned it. But I agree with you because, like, he's like, oh, I am sorry for any form of dishonesty I am guilty of. Like, that's hedging right there.
Like, because I was reading it, I'm like, that's why the voice sort of made sense, almost like a lawyerly voice.
Yeah.
Because it feels. Yeah. Anyway, I hope nothing has happened. I hope he has gone back to the community. Don't break my heart, Josh.
Well,
it's a long day.
I was going to ask you another question, which is, he didn't have to send this letter. He's already been found, liable for paying all these civil penalties. Why did he even bother sending it?
Well, I think he had to send this letter. I think he had, because where is he going to go? This is his community. Mm-hmm. Like, he's been asked, like, is he going to be by himself as a criminal? Like, he probably did really love the community and have connections with people. And you said status was a big part. I imagine that being expelled from the community would have been the worst outcome from this. He would have rather gone to jail. So I think
you're right. Shunning in that community is like the ultimate.
Yeah, I would imagine. Kelly McGillis, I think, was going to get shunned in witness for acts of indecency with Harrison Ford. But I think that would have been my thought here. I think that would have been like, where is Philip going to go? He's like just a destroyed person. His reputation's destroyed. Go back to the community because they're going to be willing to forgive him. I think he had to write this letter. I just think the way he wrote it was a bit like, I didn't like it.
Yeah, and I will also guess that if anybody didn't hear about it, they were going to hear about it, and this was an attempt to acknowledge the inevitable collapse of the creamery, of the business, rather than a purely voluntary decision to come clean. Like, I think he was trying to get ahead of it in some way. So
that's actually, I think, a really good point, Josh. It feels like he was trying to get ahead of this.
Yeah,
that reads like that letter.
This was January 2019, and then in September 2019, the Trickling Springs Creamery ceases operations. December of that year, it is hard to say.
I told you, it's not an easy.
Trickling
Nobody knew where he
Springs
went wrong. I should take away his branding. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they filed for bankruptcy a few months later, and then around this time, Riehl was charged formally with conspiracy, securities fraud, wire fraud in connection with his Ponzi scheme. If convicted, he would face a max sentence of 45 years in prison, $5.5 million fine, a 3-year term of supervised release, forfeiture, and mandatory restitution. He was 67 at that time. He's facing those charges. What do you think? How do you think he pled?
Oh my gosh. He's got to plead guilty and then maybe find a way to reduce the sentence. I think that's happened. So he finds guilty. He maybe gets letters from the community to support a reduced sentence, and that may be part of this letter. But I'm curious as to what happened.
Oh, that's a good point. Like maybe this letter was like he's thinking ahead. He's like, well, I said sorry, so that's got to count for something. You're right. He did
Works in
plead
Canada.
guilty. Yeah. It helps. February 2020, he pleads guilty to the charges. And I don't know about letters of support from the community. We will talk about the victims shortly. But yeah, he pleads guilty. And what do you think he got? What do you think was his sentence? So he pleads guilty to conspiracy, securities fraud, and wire
those are
fraud.
serious charges. I mean, they have to be jail time. So I'd say 10 years.
Pretty good. You nailed it. 10 years in federal prison, along with orders for restitution, forfeiture totaling nearly $60 million, though recovery for victims was deemed unlikely.
Oh, no.
They just,
this guy,
there's no money.
So Philip, you're a bad guy. You're a bad dude.
It's a bad dude. Let's talk about the victims. Garth, open up the next image.
No. I'm not going to. I refuse.
Describe.
Josh. No. I'm not doing
This one's a little tricky, but describe what you're looking at.
God. Number 8?
Yeah.
Is this number 8?
This is number 8.
Okay. Oh, boy. Oh, no. Okay, I thought it was a picture. I think a group picture of all the victims. I'm glad it isn't that, but this is a lot of names here. This is a PDF of a spreadsheet of the victims' businesses, their first and last names, and there's a lot of people on here. And this page 1 of 7. Oh, no.
Yeah, about 400.
It's a lot of
names.
people. Oh, this jerk. I can only use that language for our G-rated program. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, just how many rows here? There's 460 rows. $59,668,297.97 is the loss amount here.
And what jumped out to me when I was looking at this, look at the last names. Can you tell me if anything jumps out related to the last names?
Last names? I mean, they're alphabetical. No, I mean, I don't know. I don't think so. There's a lot of Martins. A lot of Millers.
A lot of Martins.
Weavers. Wait a minute now. Are you making me look for something?
I'm putting you on the spot. I had more time to look at this.
I was trying to see if he had a reel here. Did he take from his own family?
I didn't even check for that.
I thought that's what you're getting at. I didn't see a reel here. No, what are you getting at? Maybe I'm missing it.
That is somewhat what I'm getting at. There's a lot of repeated names. A lot of Coolies, Dursteins, Fishers,
yes, that's what you mean.
Horsts, Hoovers, multiple people with the same last name.
Right. So that's right. That's what you're saying. It's not like it's diversified individuals. It's like families. These are families.
That's what I was getting at.
You suck.
You
suck, Philip.
There's 400 some victims, but there's what, maybe
'cause you can total
30
up
or 40
family.
families?
There's one person here, Claire Zimmerman, of the Zimmerman family. That's $5 million. That's like one of the bigger numbers for a person. $5 million loss amount for Claire. Carl or Claire. So the Zimmerman family lost a lot of. So Zimmerman's up here for 5.3 and 4.4. 2 Zimmermans. So that's almost $10 million of the 60 from the Zimmerman family.
It's not just
worst.
A bunch of naive people. It is whole entire, your cousins, your uncle, your dad, your brother, your savings is gone. You would maybe go to your family for help. Their savings is also gone.
Oh, no.
This whole community was just.
What happened to the community? Are they okay? Do you know? I want to be okay.
Well, we know this is a resilient community, and they're helping each other. There's the church. I'll tell you what I do know. Yeah. Well, let me ask you this question. We've talked a lot about forgiveness. Garth, do you think you could forgive someone who stole your life savings, even though you may have zero Social Security like some of these people?
You know, if I put my Amish hat on, maybe I can find forgiveness because they're good people, and it would be very difficult in real life. But I think if I felt real, truly remorse and accountability, possibly. I didn't get it from that letter, so I'd have to find it another way. But it's possible. It'd be hard though, man. That's a lot. Like that's a huge amount of money. It could wreck, the next generation in the family. So I would like to think I'm capable of that because you don't want to carry all that resentment and anger with you. That's not good for your health. But it would be tough.
Yeah, it's a question of, too, like, even if you wanted to forgive, would it be possible to forgive?
What about you? What would you say?
I mean, I've found it in my own life, forgiveness is the way to go, but it wouldn't happen right away. I would eventually really try to do it for my own sake, not for sake of the scammer. But no, it would be brutal. Let me tell you what the victims said. Many victims, this is from the FBI report, many victims told investigators they forgave Riehl, even though he took so much from them. One of the victims transferred all of her money out of a traditional 401k and gave it to Riehl to invest for her. And she lost everything. Unfortunately, that happened to so many people. So, resilience of the community, they noted that the churches asked for donations to help some of the victims, especially the elderly, who have little time to recover financially. And, they put out a warning to investors. This is the FBI. You should always do your due diligence in making investment decisions, assuring anyone investing their money is licensed and regulated. They said a lot of these investors sent in a check without asking a lot of questions. It's important to ask lots of questions and know exactly what's happening to your money.
Yeah, and that's an important thing to do just for, part of this fraud complex is the story, but it's also, be careful of this. But it's super hard to do with Affinity. Because Affinity is just really hard to, it's built on trust, right? And that's a thing that somebody took advantage of. I see there was a Canadian in here, too, the country Canada, in Bancroft, Ontario. So he also, found other communities, because there's a Mennonite community in Ontario. I was actually very close to one in St. Jacobs when I went to school. So he, and I see the Zimmerman farm here. So he took from the farm $3 million and the family, that's $13 million from them. Yeah, so it's different parts around, I think, Pennsylvania. But there's other states here too. So it looks like he found other people inside the community to go to other areas where they might have family. I see Kentucky, Ohio, Illinois, Tennessee, Oregon, Maryland, Virginia, and Ontario, Canada.
Wow, so I didn't pick up on that.
Hillview Mennonite Church. So how much was that? And that's Canadian dollars. Oh no, that's American dollars for Canada. It's 131,000. So yeah, this guy. That's beautiful people, right? They're willing to forgive, and that person that you read, 401k lost everything, but they're still, good hearts. That's amazing. They're really good, kind people.
It speaks to the generosity of that community. So, in conclusion, Garth, if you had to, before we get a question from our listeners, we do have a question from our listeners. Okay. Oh, it's very exciting.
First question from the listener.
It's the first. So we're going to leave on a more positive note. But
I hope so. I am, compared to the fruitcake fraud, where, obviously things were stolen, but I didn't feel bad for Bob McNutt because it seems like, they were going to be okay. I don't feel good about anything that happened here to this community. This really hurt my heart. So I just wanted to let you know that, and thank you for that, Josh.
No,
thank you for setting my day this way.
It is a tearjerker one, especially when you
just
look at
the movie makes you cry. I want to watch it because it's a lot of Harrison Ford and Kelly McGillis, but it's about the community. And I remember that boy ends up being an actor too. I think he's in Inception. I think I know who that boy is.
Oh, really?
But it is. I know that boy. I know the actor. But it's about how the community loves each other and their heart is broken sort of by what's happening with the boy. I don't know why these mafiosos are coming into the community, but that's a big part of this. So because you just in that movie, they're good people, they care, and they just seem like genuinely loving people. And what's happening here is awful to take advantage of this group. So anyway, Josh,
that is the takeaway. Affinity fraud is particularly heartbreaking, and people just, if there's a lesson, it's be careful who you trust. because sometimes the greatest frauds are perpetrated by those you trust the most in your community. And just because a guy's named Riehl doesn't mean he's not a big phony. So
yeah, that's it's one of the learning objectives. Riehl equals phony now.
Riehl equals phony. Now we're going to get to our
down.
question. We're going to remind people to please subscribe, leave us a comment about a fraud case you'd like to discuss, or email us at fraudcomplexpodcast@gmail.com with fraud cases on your mind. But as a special bonus today, we got our first email. Now, when I say we got an email, I mean my wife had a question, and she said it would be okay if I told people if she emailed. So
I love it. I love it.
Just as good as an email, really.
It. She could have just told you, but you said, no, email the podcast address.
Just like...
That's the only way we answer these questions. You can't tell me, even though we're in the same space. All right.
It was close enough to an email. She asked me, what is the difference between a scam and fraud? And I didn't know. So I was going to see, Garth, if you knew or you had some ideas on this.
That's a good question. I think generally, so I'm taking my fraud examiner's course in Washington, D.C. next week. And I've been working in this space at CPA. I think we don't use the word scam. Right? It's almost like we say fence and stealing. It's almost like more of a sort of a slang version for fraud. And fraud has so many different types. So I think when we say scam, I think it's more just the way the context is for people who aren't in the financial space. When you hear the word scam, it's sort of what I think is somebody's taken money from a person in a way that took advantage of them, right? Like an elderly scam or... a scam where you're trying to take the deed away from someone's home. And I think that is a type of fraud, but fraud is the bigger word scams are a part of. But I think scam is not technically a fraud. I think it's just something we say.
Oh, got it. It's more like informal. Okay,
it's more informal. But I could be wrong. I got to be studying for the exam. They could be like, what is a scam? A, B, C, D, not a thing. No certified fraud examiner for you, Garth. So I better make sure I just told you an accurate statement, but that's my gut feeling.
Well, Garth, thank you for that answer. That helps me. I'll pass it on to her. And she and I wish you luck on your fraud examiner's course next week. And I'm excited to hear the results.
We will, if I don't talk about it, it didn't go well.
You'll know episode 4.
If it doesn't come up in episode 4, we don't ever mention again. Then we know it might not have gone well for me. So I'm hoping I get to talk about it.
I'm sure we'll be talking all about it